The credit card companies keep flooding our mailboxes with 4 billion offers a year.
Banks alone had made available $3 trillion of credit.
My name's Holly, and I'm the Vice President External of the Graduate Students Association at Concordia. We found a documentary because I asked our researcher to look for a documentary on student debt. We thought it would be a good way that's sort of fun to talk about student debt. It talks about debt in general. And since it's American, I think it was actually a good thing because there's a lot of this sort of debate about tuition, is constantly repeated, be grateful because, or you can afford to pay more tuition because they pay so much more in the US or in the rest of Canada.
Consumer lending is grossly profitable. I can't even find the right word to give you here. Consumer lending is obscenely profitable.
Student debt is now worth more than credit card debt in the United States, which I maybe should have said in the beginning of it, but it's $1 trillion. There's $1 trillion of student debt in the United States. A lot of economists and sort of finance experts are actually really worried that it could cause another economic crisis, like with the mortgages in 2008. It was people defaulting on mortgage repayments that caused that economic crisis that we're still being affected by. And there's exactly the same situation developing with student debt. There's just this whole model, which is exactly the same as the American model, that the only reason you go to university is to make more money later in life. Nothing to do with being a better person or more knowledgeable or more educated. And the minute you move away from that model, which in Quebec I think some people still have that value, that value is still there, it's under attack so heavily, that everyone should go to university if they want, because it's an opportunity to improve yourself as a person and it's good for society in general. And maybe, there's also a role where you maybe learn some skills that make you better in the workforce. But in terms of learning skills, specific skills, that's a whole other thing. That's, college, vocational. There's nothing wrong with that. It's really valuable too. But I think that we need to think of these things separately. If you look at the average Canadian tuition is close to $6,000 now. When I started university 8 years ago, it was about $5,000. If you look at the charts of how Canadian tuition has developed over the last few decades, it's constantly a very sharp increase. And so I don't know the average American tuition off the top of my head, but it's probably something about $20,000 a year. So it's not implausible that that Canadian tuition could get there.
If not for people like students who need the money, credit card companies wouldn't be making these gigantic profits that they make, and they do make huge profits. And it's not so much the credit card company, because you don't pay Visa and you don't pay MasterCard and you don't pay American Express, you don't pay Discover or whoever else. You're paying a bank. The banks sort of hide behind the credit card company.
I know tons of people in my classes I talk to, and they're like third-year classes, and they're paying like $500. Of course, when.
Hello. Nice to be here. How are you doing? Good. Good. Nice to be here. I'm broke. Anybody else broke?